Maybe.
Are you?
There he goes.
Oh, we actually get a countdown?
I always see the
What?
countdown. Y'all never see it.
We
Wait,
saw it barely.
it's because it goes like 5, 2, 1. You're in.
Let's double check, make sure we're live.
You
I don't think we. Yeah, we are. We're live. Let's go. Okay. Yeah. All right. What's up, everybody? We'll go ahead and get started.
Hello, loyal followers and listeners alike.
My name is Chris. I'm here along with Cedric. We are in Indianapolis. We just got back from DCI finals. Then we have in our home, beloved home. That is very loud. I hope you guys can't hear that.
oh no.
Our air conditioning is so loud. But we have Zach here with us as well, back in our home state of Kentucky. And then we have all the way on the West Coast, we have Will. How's everyone doing?
Man.
Man, I'm going to turn the air because I can't hear
Like,
anything. I'll be right back.
But yeah, while he's doing that, man, I still have a face.
True.
I have a headache.
It did not completely get blown off, but it was close.
I'm gonna echo drum corps circle and say, is it July yet?
Right? Already.
I mean, already, dude.
Well, here's the scary part about that stuff, man. They probably already got plans already in the works for 2024.
oh, I guarantee you,
100%.
a lot of groups do that mid-season.
That's crazy.
Scouts did when I was in it. I knew a lot of the staff people, and I actually got to ride on the staff bus a couple times. And they will always tell us, like, yeah, dude, we're already planning the next year. And I was like,
Well, who was it? Was it Troopers last year that like announced their show like 3 days after like finals were over?
Seemed like it.
Yeah, they waste no time.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, it was a great night. Like just a lot of just good. No changes from semis, but just after watching everybody's show today, I didn't really think that anything should change, to be honest.
Gaps kind of widened out a little bit, but placements stayed the same.
Yeah, I think, and I have to look because I don't know what Blue Knight scored yesterday, but they didn't push them too far. If they bumped them up, they didn't push them too far up. And then there were a couple of tight scores, and I think those tight scores kind of kept the upper numbers down a little bit. Because I think I told y'all in the chat, I said if whoever came in second, whoever was going to come in second, pop a 98, that BD was going to break the record tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Knights went down a little bit tonight.
Went down.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to get like too much into it because we're still going to do an episode this week because it's what happened. But I was telling Sid, I actually liked Blue Knight's show more than I had actually the Blue Stars. I feel like they had a better run tonight than the Blue Stars did.
I think that could be just their job was already done. They made it, and they had no pressure. Whereas I feel like Blue Stars probably felt a little pressure. I think. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited with how the results went. Honestly.
I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about this a little bit. All right, maybe this is like initial impressions. Like, of course, I hadn't seen anybody live, like not in person live until tonight. So, But I was impressed with Blue Knights. I really did like what they brought to the table. I found myself with Blue Stars looking at the slide. They do a lot of cool things on the slide.
Man, there's one slide that looks like it's about ready to be retired because
Oh
someone
yeah,
went
it's
down
got
it, man.
tape,
It was just
all
like
kinds of
it was
stuff
like
on it.
wow. I mean, it reverberated in the stadium. Like that's how loud it was. It's
I
like,
heard it
oh,
one. I heard it one time during a regular show. I said, "What is that?" I was like, "God dang, that slide is broke."
It reminds me of those. You remember those slides back on the playground? Those big metal
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, that's what it was like. Rickety, like
slammed down on that joint. I said, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah,
I know them things going off the roof.
Right. Those things are staying in Lucas Oil. They're just going to run. They're just going to keep it. That way they have to break it down.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We don't need this anymore.
But yeah, that like all the shows. Well, you know, me and Zach went to Murfreesboro, but we're also on like the goal line, so it's a little bit better to hear. We were on side one, right on the 30, like the second row from the field. So we got a lot of good stuff, and that was like the perfect place to be this year because I feel like everyone's like big hits were all on side one most of the time.
I about to say, I noticed that.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But to hear just some of the stuff, I remember what court was we were listening to, and both of us looked at each other, just like, oh, I've never heard that before.
I said that a few times tonight.
I mean, just some really cool like intermelody stuff that was going on, especially with like the mellow lines and stuff like that. And it was really cool hearing that kind of stuff.
I think there was two that kind of jumped out. Maybe Cadets was one of them. Their closer has so much double and triple tonguing and moving lines in it. I was just like, they started that stuff, and I looked at Chris and said, "They're in fifth."
Yeah,
like this is fifth. Like there's no way. I was like, I appreciate the Mandarin show for what it was, seeing it live, like the swag they have. It was something really, really cool. But Cadets were just like old school Cadets, running, gunning.
That classic ending, man. It didn't get much better.
Yeah. Gabe asked, if you don't know, do you agree or disagree with the drum placements tonight since we were in person? I'm not seeing the recap, but I agree that the person that won the Sanford is the right one.
Cavi's won drums tonight too.
Yeah.
Now the score is super, or I say super low. It was only a 19-6. I know only sounds like what, but to understand, like I think they popped 19-9 the other two nights. I don't think they scored under 19-8. I think they
just had too hard of mallets tonight.
I'm not seeing
she capped herself.
Yeah, like
that's what it was. She capped herself.
That score, and she might have been trying to leave room just in case, but she left a lot of room. She left 4/10 up there.
I don't know what the breakdown was. What was the top 5
drums?
Top 5 drums.
Cavi,
BD, Crown, Blue Knight, Blue Coats, and Boston.
And Cadets right behind Boston.
Yeah. And to put that in reference, Boston was 5th in drums.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were 6th in achievement.
Yeah. So
they pulled a 2022 is what they did.
I was going to trigger you.
You said they pulled a 2022? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I would also like to say I think me and Will predicted correctly that Crown's percussion was going to somehow figure it out and put them in place. So kudos to both of us. Put that one up on the big board.
Well,
but I think Zach you had Blue Knights in, right? Did you have Blue Knights in or did you have Crossman in?
I don't think I put them in.
Oh, okay. I thought you had them in.
Will put Spirit in. I think Will was on.
I put Spirit in.
And he put Spirit in. And
Yeah, I was
I
hoping
didn't really think.
it was nothing but hope.
Yeah,
Jesus, take the wheel.
I think if I had seen Blue Knights back to back with Crossman, I probably would have had Blue Knights in. I'm not shocked that they were in. And honestly, watching it tonight, they should have been in. They deserved it.
They were good. They were good.
It was some good stuff. Blue Coats also had a moment in their opening lick that I didn't hear until tonight.
I think that's what I was talking about earlier.
Because like that opening block, I think it's the baritones have like a triplet run in it. And I'm like, what? I didn't know this was happening.
It was nasty.
And from that point on, everything was just.
They laid one down tonight.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't want to get, like I said, I don't want to get into too much, but that reaction from the crowd.
Uh-oh.
They do like they're setting it up around the field. They're kind of like, you know what I'm talking about?
No,
No.
because you froze.
No,
That hotel
not at all.
Wi-Fi got y'all.
Oh, hotel Wi-Fi got us. Well, what did you hear last?
You said that reaction from the crowd.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Anyway,
And then it
So
was,
you know what I mean?
do you know what I mean?
you know what I mean? You guys ever seen Ralph Breaks the Internet when they're like,
Yeah.
the secrets to parenthood and like all the race cars go by really fast. They're like, man, I wish everyone could hear that. That was that moment. Anyway, the crowd reaction when they're like building up those like tonguing articulation, kind of like that stuff all around the band, and then it just gets like, I said band again, all around the core, and then all of a sudden just like it's just chaos. Man, the entire stadium was
Talk
on their
about all the
feet.
stuff like from the trombone feature
Yes.
on that whole section. Yeah,
Yes.
their staff went nuts.
I mean,
I guess
the entire stadium was on their feet.
that's insane
I mean,
to line up and how spread out they are and everything.
we had a guy, I don't know how old he was. He was an older gentleman, and he's a Blue Coast guy, and he was even hype at that moment.
No, that dude was bobbing his head the whole show.
Yeah.
Like,
God.
I was like, if he's feeling it.
I know I texted y'all that ballad into my veins.
Mhm.
That
And it's a good chunk of that is not conducted.
no,
Like,
Well, they line up. It's the synth, the trombone, and is it a trumpet or is it a bugle?
The
I think it's a flugelhorn.
Flugelhorn, yeah, that's what.
starts
Okay,
it, yeah.
so like
Yeah, up top.
they're all three they're all, it's not timed, and I mean that synth player was right on it every single time. I mean,
They're unreal.
just phenomenal performance. That was probably the performance of the night, I think. Like crowd wise, I think that's what everyone was looking forward to, because everyone knew Blue Devils were probably going to,
I mean, even when like they went like before the award ceremony started in the retreat, when they cut to like they do in the theater where they have the guy like announcing it like ESPN or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about the placements, and he basically even said everybody knows Blue Devils are going to win tonight, but the real race is for second, third, and fourth. And they kind of got into that a little bit.
Hey, it was close.
And I kind of mentioned that to Chris last night. I said I almost feel bad for the Blue Devils a little bit, because nobody's going to be talking about them. Like, it's almost effective. It's a foregone conclusion. So let's just, but this race here between these three cores, and then you got another race with the three cores behind those three cores. It's just like, and you heard it in the applause again. And this is one of those Blue Devil shows that people like this year. I found myself grooving a lot during. I was like, this is just really stinking good. It's really good. But like, they got done and we clapped, but it was just like yeah, you're great, clap.
Yeah.
It's like it's the you win too much syndrome.
Yep. Was
And
this
that's
their
how-
first? we were talking about this. This is their first three-peat ever
Yeah.
for BD.
And a lot of people
like,
said that through social media too.
and it's not even. That show is not like as the finals as a whole. That BD show would never get talked about a lot. I don't think it's going to be that 2, 3, 4 race that we had and how it went about, because they were just head and shoulders above everyone else this year, and it sucks for them because that show is really good.
And they played in Marshall really well too. Guard was dumb good.
I said it a couple times with them. That flag feature at the end when they're all up on the different colored stages. I was watching them, and I've said it so many times. If you get my attention in the color guard, you're doing something really right, because that's not priority number one on my list of places to look.
Well, they had
I did. I just sat and watched, and I just went, "Come on, flag feature," like that. It was solid. I did that for Blue Coats at one point too.
They had that moment where they all are on rifle, right? And like that big toss they do towards the end of that segment was right in front of us. It was just like a white streak. It was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, man.
I said something about it. I sat there and I was sitting there looking at this show, and I was like, bro, they're not dropping nothing. I was like, this is the cleanest that I've seen. And I was sitting there like, I even made a tweet about it. I was like, where are all these people talking about BD drops all these guard weapons? I was like, yeah, I went for it because I was like, I want to see you now. That. I want to see you now because that was
my folding chair.
They watch. See, you can watch Z-Zach.
You get him. Zach knows the deal.
There was a drop early, and I was like, oh God. It was a saber drop though, and then like nothing else. Everything else was spot on.
50. That's what they get.
Everything else was spot on. Like there was a rifle toss. I think it was towards the end of their opener. Everybody throws, I don't know, like at 30, and then they do a 45 at the end of it afterwards. So I'm just like, okay, what you ain't finna do? It was. That show was just good. That first opening hit had a little extra stank on it tonight from BD. It had a little extra stank on it. But no, man, everybody was like, I really liked Crown in Boston.
I thought Crown was one of their better plays that they did have done this year. Dude, I was like, this is a good run for them.
If Blue Coats didn't have that run that they did tonight, that would have been Crown's spot, I think. The Crown,
what got him was visual. I went back and looked, and I was like, wait a minute.
Well, think about
how Crown win brass, they get second in GE, which I was a little shocked about that. And then their perk actually got back up and got third. And I was like, I said, God, that visual.
And I think,
but I can see that though.
I think what it is, and this could be a discussion on its own with a lot of different people. It's straight drill, and they don't do a lot of dance.
That could be it.
Because think about
leaning that way. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that whole Blue Coast dance feature on the ground. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Talk about when the word is the door is shut. Is that what?
Yeah, they do that. And the door is shut.
Yeah.
Oh.
And not.
And they do that. Yeah. Oh, whoever wrote that.
That little bob.
So that visual score made sense to me.
Yeah.
I was like, God, what happened?
In Boston's drill, it's cooler. Like they don't do a whole lot of body either.
No, but that wave that goes in between each other, I don't know if people realize that's like arc. That's wave down. It's not straight.
No,
it's arc,
and they're going at it at an angle,
and they are just running.
They are hauling
and playing, and I'm like, okay, this is why. And you're gonna do that in the opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so I think that's where they got. I think that's where Crown got dinged. Is just it's not. I don't want to say creative enough, but maybe that's just the easiest.
I mean, that's probably what it is, because your storytelling is hard, man. Someone's gonna get sacrificed,
I feel like when they go too deep into the story, Crown,
Mhm.
that's they kind of box themselves in, and it doesn't. And I think that's where my problem was with them from a musical standpoint, and where I said all their stuff sounds the same. I found myself tonight listening to them and seeing if they changed keys. Like legit, like I think they did, but I think when they changed keys, when it was just the mallets. Like I think the horn line plays in, and they might change they make key changes for build ups and impact, but I think there's a lot of B flat.
But sometimes, but like I said, remember what I said last time? Like sometimes a lot of things call for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well, yeah,
a lot of movies, a lot of like playwrights or something like that. You get a certain vibe, and it stays there. And
we talked about that, but
yeah,
once again, I don't watch movies. Like I get bored with them, and I think the movies that are like that kind of have the same vibe or feel throughout the whole time. Like I clocked
you
out.
have to watch it because those are the hard movies to watch because it's forcing you to pay attention. Because if you miss anything, you literally won't know what's going on.
I can't.
And then that's why people get into so many stuff like Avengers or something like that, because it's all over the place. It's this sound, and then it can be just sad, then it's out of nowhere, then it's this, blah blah. But like certain movies, you can get action movies that are like that too, that are just kind of one note, but it's an action movie.
Yeah.
But they force you to watch, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I had to force myself for a while to watch Crown like that, because I was like, okay, I know y'all telling the story, but I'm missing something. What helped me was they finally changed the uniforms. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to see main characters and this, that, and the other. And then now the storyline's making more sense. But it's like, yeah, you got to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that loses a lot of people, especially visually and all that kind of stuff. But the music does tell a lot. But if you can't visually see it, it's kind of like people. It's like what people say with food, man. Sometimes food can look great, but it might taste terrible.
And that might be another thing with me too, since I don't see very well. Like, unless the course do a really good job of making characters and things like that stand out, I just don't notice it. Like for me, like I think I only knew there was a dude like King Arthur because I saw the end of the show and he was standing on the chair, and I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so for me, if it's not like obvious, like, I mean, that just might be a me thing, but
I will say if the staging sometimes, I think for them, because they have that big table, that they lose a lot of space to where they can put stuff. So I know, like when they do the whole like Arthur and Guinevere, and I guess it's his brother.
It's his brother.
It's his brother or it's Lancelot, one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's his brother.
It's his brother.
Yeah, there's two different ways to tell it or whatever. But like that whole section of like the love triangle
gets lost
going on, and it's like we froze. Dang it!
No, you're good.
I'm good. Okay, I thought you said we froze.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I said it gets lost.
Yes, it gets lost. It's like
the
on
core
side
is right
one.
on top of it.
Yeah, it's like side one at the bottom, towards the sideline, and the core is like all over here. Like you see where they're trying to frame it, but like it just gets buried in there, and that sets up the whole like rest of the show. Like that sets up the battle and why they're battling.
And see that, and to me that's always been the challenge in my head for anybody in the band world in general, because for me storytelling is so much easier in indoor because it's focal. When you're in band, man, you got a whole field to try to focalize one small thing. And then, like, if you're somebody like Crown, because when did they even do it? I don't even remember when they finally changed the color of their uniform. Before a long time, that man was, where's Waldo in that? So I was like, y'all, because that was my first thought. I was like, how he gonna be the main character in the same uniform as everybody else? So
as soon as they put that purple on him, that changed it a lot.
It helped. It helped a lot. And it was the same thing with Boston when they brought the girl out in all white, and because she was the whale. And I respected that ending tonight too, where the well actually won.
Yeah,
I cool. I noticed that. That was good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, Boston, I see.
Hey, another question for you guys. I don't, because me and Sed were talking about it, and I wasn't sure. Were those quotes from cadets? Were those new this week?
All of them?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
because I don't ever remember hearing them.
I think they had them in Allentown.
Okay, so I didn't get to watch.
I don't remember hearing them in Murfreesboro, but I do remember hearing them.
Because like that, I think that helped them a lot too. That gave their direction, because like, you know, if you don't know the story of Atlas, I mean, like you're, you know, they don't give you a whole lot. They give you enough framework as to why. What was going on.
And I will say, after seeing it a few more times and having the full picture, the uniform does make sense, because they went like the whole like strength and fitness route, physical fitness route with it, and they did a lot of. I mean, you had to be strong to be in cadets this year, because they were doing. You
start the show on a plank,
right? Yeah, they were doing some serious business. But did anybody notice the person for the blue coats fall tonight?
No.
Oh, I mean, they went down, right? And they were in the front of this line coming across the 50, and I mean, they just ate it. And
wait, when was this?
Tonight in blue coats.
Because I thought I had seen something, but I wasn't sure.
And then they got up and recovered, and then when they hit a direction change, they went down again. I was like, oh, I don't know if they're hurt or not, but
it could be.
As far as I know, they kept on going. So props to them. Hope you're okay, and that's a silver medal deserved for that.
I did not see that.
They went down. I went, oh shit, like, because I mean they were in the very front of that brass block, and they were hauling.
Yeah, I did not see
they were probably hurt.
Yeah, we kind of talked about cadets today. It was just a good show. It was.
I told Sid when we were sitting there, because Mandarins went before cadets did, and when we got done Mandarins, I just looked at him. I was like, that was just loud. Like, it was just in a good way. Like, it was like really loud. And then cadets played. I looked at him. I said, and that's refined loud. Like, it was like really in your face, but like it still was like you could tell that. I won't say they were reserved on it, but it was like tasteful in how they did it. And
well, their show kind of called for, like, whereas Mandarins was more about being nasty.
Well, that's the raunchy raw, and I love it. Yeah, but like when cadets came out, and like they were still as loud, but it just had a different like quality to it. Like I just.
You know what I compare if like when you talking about Mandarins with the raunchy sound and stuff like that, to a group that you can use it as example to say, okay, we know how to be loud and raunchy, but control it, would probably be that Blue Coast trombone feature section.
Yeah.
Because that section took me a minute. And then through the season, I was like, okay, this is getting tight. This is getting a whole lot tighter, a whole lot clearer, and everything. Then they changed the tweaked a little bit of it.
My worry with that section was that it was going to turn into when Crown did Beast, that trombone feature.
Yeah.
Just kind of obnoxiously
made no sense. Yeah.
But it did.
They did the right change.
Being great.
You know what other trombone feature I really enjoyed was Colts. Their little quartet they have. That's probably the best. So I always have a pet peeve because I'm a trombone player, and like sometimes I feel like the trombones most times just used for like glissandos and like just raunchiness, which is some places it's done well, like Phantoms is raunchy and nasty, but it's awesome, right? But the way that the Colts use them and their little feature is probably my favorite one I've seen in a while. It was what the trombone sounds like, right? The a million octaves you can play on it, and the tone and the timbre is locking in together. And
I think because it's it's so difficult in this sport for it to be there. Because if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure scouts and somebody else start marching with them after
Mandarins
a while.
did a couple years ago.
Mhm.
They marched like they picked them up like maybe a third of the way through, and the
Yeah.
rest
Yeah,
of them
that
played.
first year they busted
Yeah.
in the finals and they did
Yeah.
that.
I feel like
Yeah.
Blue Devils did it once. I feel like
I
when
feel
they
like-
did it, they marched.
Yeah, I wanted to say that too. Because but I think that's the thing. I think, especially in drum corps, it's like, man, it's just that's why they get used that way.
Yeah,
That you
that's
were
what I'm saying.
talking
Like
about.
I understand how they're used. Like sometimes for me though, just as like a trombone player, I'm like, we're more than that. I promise. Like like
It gets hard, man, because you're not finna be Boston and doing that drill that we were
No.
talking about in the opener with a trombone, bro.
No, if I try to go out there and try
The
to play my
camera cut-
trombone, dude, my neck be broke, my arm be dislocated.
Listen,
The
The camera cut to the contras, and I was already butthole squeezing tight. I said, "God, dog, I ain't never seen it from that side before." They cut. I was
man.
like, them was SEV.
Intervals.
I was like, God, dog. I said, that's close, and they are running in that. I've never seen the camera cut to that side.
You talking about the Boston
pass
through? Yeah, I
the
was
pass
sitting
through part.
I was sitting there watching. I was like,
It
if
was
somebody falls,
It's a wrap
it's
for
a
the
wrap.
whole course.
Just stop the show. Just get off the field.
They had
Double
4
click it.
people left for retreat.
Just go.
2 of
I was
them are
like,
alternates.
Jesus.
Speaking of, one of the changes, I don't know when they changed it, but I noticed it tonight. The piccolo trumpet solo in Boss's show. First off, I think tonight was the first night that that person nailed it to the wall.
Mm.
I feel like every other time they were kind of sliding and missing partials and stuff, which it's piccolo trumpet, it's hard. Like everything's so packed together on when you play that. But the other part I noticed was the back half of that. They used to be piccolo trumpet. They passed it to the mellophones, and I think that was a smart change for them because it made that section a lot cleaner. Because that's a lot to ask of that person that played that solo on piccolo like that.
Yeah, it gets to a point in the season where you're just like, all right, we really wanted this, but it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not worth the content score if the achievement score is never gonna you're never gonna get credit for it. So
It's like when Crown did the Out of This World, that big solo and the ballad that they did. You remember how many times they tweaked and altered that until they finally settled on having it all spaced out and
was
3
it
4
that
different
show?
people.
I remember Crown having an issue with their solos one year. Was it that year?
I'm pretty sure it was
Yes.
that year.
Yeah.
Because that's when they're hitting like all that stuff at the beginning of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember all that.
We were,
Yeah.
Or BD last year.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
she nailed it, though.
I
Yeah.
just think piccolo trumpets are slippery anyway.
Yeah, the partials are like this
That's what I'm
big.
saying. It's all so close together. Sheesh.
Right. So let me see. We talked about mandarins and cadets, cavies. Yeah. It was good to see that in person, and you can watch it and know why they watch it. So I'm
It
gonna
was
spare
so-
Will his pedantic tantrum, but if you watch the front, it's a total package, and we're starting to see that get rewarded more often.
Yeah.
With cavies this year, with blue coats last year, with SCV the past 38 years, like your front ensemble book's gonna have to be more than runs. It's gonna have to be thought out, and it's gonna have to not only complement the core, it's gonna have to complement the battery, and to some extent probably complement the guard too. Like it's gonna people are gonna have to start paying attention to what's being written
Mhm.
in that front ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
Or else the same results are going to happen.
Yep.
So
What I loved about the Cavaliers show was it was just classic Cavaliers all in every facet of the thing. But it was an anniversary show that wasn't outdated an anniversary, if that makes sense. Like it was still
they didn't
like
hang it up.
No, it was
It
still like
isn't-
a modern tribute, and it still fit the package, and it checked off the right boxes in the right places. And it
Reminds
had
me a lot
enough.
of when Scouts had their anniversary show there in finals. Like it was an ode to like everything that happened, but it was not any way of like just
Mhm.
rehashing anything. Like
Yeah.
it was smart. So
And there were I just like all the Easter eggs and the little
And they kept it competitive too.
yes.
That's what I
And
liked about it as well.
it's one of those that you had to keep watching it and listening to it to catch everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because even tonight I was like, oh, that's Frameworks. Like,
Mhm.
You're not gonna catch it all.
oh,
night,
that's
so.
Machine. Or, you know, you just.
There's probably so much stuff we didn't catch.
Exactly.
So,
I feel like that show, if they had another
or if they had another night,
they would
they
have
would have beat
caught.
Phantom.
They would have beat Phantom.
And see, in that, the fact that I skipped Phantom, not even thinking about it,
Yeah.
lets you know. I saw tonight why Mandarins kind of gapped him.
I think the back half of Phantom killed him.
Yeah, you mentioned
think
that
the
last week in one of our
I think the
episodes.
opening segment is solid, and the middle part's good, but I think that that ending just, I don't know, it just didn't have enough momentum or something. I don't know.
Well, we were talking that it should have ended after the company front. If you end the show right there, like that's a solid moment to end on. But then you have another like 25, 30 seconds of show, and it kind of just takes away with that moment that, could really, elevated it.
The kick out was cool, but I don't think it had the punch that they wanted it to have. And for some reason, I felt like they think they had it to end around that circle.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar enough with the storyline to know why. So, let's see here. We kind of talked about Blue Stars and Blue Knights at the beginning. Troopers.
I dug that.
How was it in
last one for
person?
them.
Once it's the same thing it said, just was mentioning with Mandarins and Phantom. You can see why Colts were beating the Troopers. You can see why it was happening. It's good.
It's kind of
it's just we talk about how Mandarins are raw and with the energy. Troopers the same way, but I think it was a detriment to them this year. The rawness of it that was there, and I feel like that hurt them a little bit.
I think it's kind of a little snooze fest.
Yeah, I give you that. Yeah, I was like, I saw the Sunburst finally. I got excited when I saw it. That was cool.
In the classic Trooper uniform.
Now, I will say, side notes, got to watch Troopers Legacy.
Dude, the man with the giant symbols is all over the internet right
that
now.
was freaking hot. He did not do that, so we didn't get to watch him last night when they performed in Lucas Oil.
If you haven't seen him,
He performed at the Sound Sport.
His best life,
dude. I saw the video. I mean, he's just like, yeah!
Like everything he got,
every bit of what they had.
Man.
But that was really cool to see that. They just stand still love it. And there was this woman. She had to be 75, maybe. I mean, had a rifle the whole time. Never drops it. Tossing fives. Nailing it every single time. They did this one thing where like they were saluting and they're like spinning the rifle. Everyone around her was like having to look at the rifle. She's looking straight ahead. Like that was like, dude, this is her moment.
Listen,
It was awesome.
Ethel has a cadet guard, a scholastic A guard, a scholastic B guard, and a scholastic open guard that she's been in charge of for the last 25 years.
Well, I told Sid, I was like, man, we need to go
She
get
gets
her.
out there, she's like, if I have to get out there and show you how to do this,
I am
you're
folding
cut.
this whole group.
I told Sid, like, we need to get her on staff somewhere, man, because she, Allie, I'm not trying to take your job away from you. I'm just saying, like, ag, because I mean, it was ridiculous how good she was. But
Those symbols are awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it was.
Allie's correct on that. Tossing his head back.
Right.
He tossed that head back. It was a whole decapitation, boy. I was like, where
Did y'all-
y'all find
did y'all
these symbols
see-
from?
Did y'all see the Colts at age out? What happened to them? They had like a pop-up tent. And
Oh,
DCI
yeah.
officials like ripped it away from them and took it
they
off the
took it.
field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
I don't
was
know
funny.
why. I don't know what was going on with that, but that was all something that was I thought was pretty funny.
They were just going home. That was their home.
tried to jack a pop-up tent.
I mean, like he like they just take it away from him. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like that guy has to like lift weights because he manhandled that thing like it was like nothing too.
Like a camping tent?
Like no those big like
No,
those big
big
tents for like
things that they
tailgating
have.
or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. They tried to put one of
Wow.
those on the field, and like one of these officials came and ripped it from him and like, walked off. You gotta see it; it's freaking hilarious. An air
That's
mattress.
probably true, Allie.
A whole air mattress.
That's probably
So we
you,
have
wasn't it?
Music City to blame.
It was
Hey,
probably
listen.
Allie that did it.
That stuff is listen. Half of our cars left our shoes. I left my shoes on the field. I know I did. Them things, boy. Jesus.
I mean,
I don't know
think
if
it's
fire would have took care of them. Like they need to be dumped into a volcano. They
First
had
off, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they had us rehearsing a lot in the rain all the time and mud and stuff. So we
Ugh.
coming in and out, sweating and feet. That's why Gold Bond was like cigarettes in jail, bro. It's like people still at gold.
Y'all, I give you my Cool Ranch Doritos if you give
Listen,
me a
for
puff
real.
of that Mobon.
For real.
That
Olive
brings a new
oil.
meaning to Puff Puff Pass. It's the gold bond.
Oh man.
I will say the efficiency of retreat.
Oh, perfection.
I don't know if it was because of the like awards dedication to the CEO Atchison, but I mean they had to come out all 4 tunnels. It's
Yep.
boom, boom, boom. We're
Let's
here.
get it.
Let's go.
It was
I was
Ain't
here
nobody
for
got
it.
instruments to stack. None of that mess. Is great.
No, yeah. If they hadn't done the Atchison tribute, which was well worth it, like
yes.
that just had to be done. So I'm not complaining about that at all. But like
No.
we probably would have been out of there before 11. Like,
Yeah.
Like it was very quick and efficient. Brent Crocker, as always, did a wonderful job. It was a fantastic night for Drum Corps. Probably a fantastic weekend for Drum Corps. I wasn't here all week, but just everybody was quality performance. I did not have a bathroom corps this year. I sat and watched everybody.
I think they said tonight was the second most attendance.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. 22,000, something like that, running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not that it ever left, but Drum Corps, it's back, and it's gonna be interesting to see kind of what the future holds with stuff. I mean, there's some stuff coming down the pipe because we know about the DCI merger.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that I think this week, and talking about basically it's going to be all age DCI. So I don't know if the name DCA will even be associated with it next year. I gotta figure out some more research about that. And there's some other stuff coming down the pipe too. Like we don't know who the new CEO of DCI is going to be next year. And then, like I said, some other things coming that I wish I could talk about, but I can't. But it's good stuff coming, but it's stuff that needs to be done. But for sure.
Someone said they thoughts on the second, fourth race tonight. Wonder if they were going to be another tie with how tight it was.
If there would have been another tie this year, I would have personally burned Lucas Oil to the ground.
You wanted a tie. You wanted a 3-way tie. Sit back.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I just wish we all could just have fun. That's all I hope for.
I think it would have blew up if it was another tie.
Oh yeah,
Ain't no way.
It
I'm
was.
telling y'all, I had a gas can ready to go.
It deserved to be tight, and I mean, I think BD should have won, but I still think that gap should have been a little bit closer.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Should've
I
been way
really
closer.
do. I think that it's gonna take if Blue Coats continue to do the type of shows that they do, and BD kind of does it too, but they lean more towards the traditional side of it. You know, it's
How
for
many
them. It's
more?
like
How many more art movements can they do a show about? That's what I have a question.
plenty, I'm sure. But if you get some old, if you start getting some younger, like I mean, like 30-year-olds judging, which is going to be kind of hard to break into it, to especially like finals week,
Mm.
you might start seeing some shifts in GE a little bit, because I think for them it's more about the coordination and the excellence of execution as it relates to effect. Sorry, I blanked out and went into judge mode for a second. But like for them, I think it's more about that, and from just a construction standpoint, BD shows just work that way.
Mhm.
And I don't think, for me personally, and that's why I was a little concerned for Blue Coats tonight, because I was just like, Crown
It's
and
too
Boston
different.
shows are built that way. They are built more towards coordination between musical and visual, and not so much. I'm not putting this in quotation marks. The tricks and the innovation of the use of technology and storytelling. So I was really concerned that like Boston or Crown would catch Blue Coats tonight, and Blue Coats feeling like fourth or fifth in GE just because of what they're doing or how they're choosing to do what they do. But they didn't. Um, they got BD got a lot of credit for their visual package tonight, and that helped out a whole lot. So,
Look, it's tight.
but any
All I know is when they do that mesh block, the whole chorus, like the drum line's doing a drum feature or whatever, and the whole core goes on the whole line,
yeah.
and it meshes, and it's like that whole move right there by itself.
Well, they've got all the
they're
stuff they're
not
doing with
playing,
their
but still,
arms and everything too during
yeah.
that point. It's
Yeah,
and they're just
that's
like
the old
it's
school
like you
effect,
just hit.
yeah,
That's
It's
old
like
school
you
effect.
just copy paste all those people. They all look like down to their fingernails being the same length. Just
so
not weird.
they do those things really really well, and I don't know. It almost gets down to subjectivity. Like, what do you like to see in your drum
Yep.
corps? And even judges have that. Like, they're human. They can't fight it. Somebody said they're starting to understand BD shows less and less. I'm gonna show that show to my art teacher that works at my school and see what she thinks about it. Because I asked her, I was like, "Is he French?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay," because he use a lot of French in his show, and I don't know what it means. So yeah, but no, it was good. Everybody was good. Like, not disappointed with anybody. I just felt myself being a little bit. I was enjoying the shows, but like at moments I was being critical just to see like if I could discern who would move or what kind of gaps would be there, because 2 through 4 could have went anyway, and I would have been okay with it. Like if you would have told me Boston was second, I would have been like, okay.
The thing that sucked is that one of those shows had a not medal.
Yeah.
That's what sucked about that.
Yeah.
It's because all 4 of those shows could have been or were medal worthy, and
Yeah.
sold out there. We talked about Mandarins a little bit earlier on, but Seven had a good comparison of like they're kind of like how Cavies were, just that energy and back in the day, like just that energy and rawness and just loud. That was one of my favorite shows this year too. Was the Mandarins, and seeing it live and me wanting to throw up while watching those guys.
Oh,
Watching those people get spun nonstop.
I'd do it.
I
I
said
mean, they were sitting there just like.
I
you
mean,
ever
they
watch-
were-
They were-
watch The Price is Right, and
they
it
were
was like,
janking them, boy.
like one of those things. I mean, they were humming that thing, man, and like going. that
Like,
was
how do you
crazy.
decide that? Like,
Dude,
all right, is it like a rookies only?
You
Like,
gotta take
is that like
volunteer. You gotta
Is
take
that like a
volunteer for
hazing
that.
thing, or maybe only
Well,
age
don't
outs
say
allowed
that.
That's
to
not
do
a
it?
hazing
Don't
thing.
say that.
DCI does not like that.
No,
Oh,
don't
my
say that.
apologies.
I'm sure it was a choice. I'm sure they asked who would want to do this. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody in
that-
that course talented. If the top trumpet player wanted to do it, I'm sure they let them do it.
That shows
But
great.
they probably, I'm sure they picked some people with some strong stomachs. Because
I told myself, I said, Father Ryan would have done it with a drum on and played.
well, they did.
They did
That's
do
why
that.
I said it.
Height requirement.
I can see that.
Well, let's hope I would not have been in that range. Would have cut off my kneecaps or something. Make sure I was too short.
Oh my gosh.
Did y'all see the picture of Dan Potter inside
Yeah,
one of them?
yeah.
That was cool.
that's there was Steve Ardenero.
Yeah.
When Troopers were doing one of their songs, they did a stunt with the guard, and because he was just standing in the middle of the sound support floor while they were playing, and it was like, "What's going on?" And then they made a circle around him, and they threw rifles around his head while he just stood there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was pretty cool. So
Well,
lots of good stuff tonight. Had a lot of fun. Saw some folks.
yep.
I messaged you guys. I told you we sat by Don and Stephanie Click, and that was really cool. We met the Funliner guys, a couple of them, as we were leaving. And then there was somebody that recognized us as we were walking out. And
Some fans of our podcast.
we talked to a family. So this is a good night, good day, good night.
Met the CEO of Crown.
Yeah, we got on a bus, and the CEO of Crown just happened to be. They had a mobile lab here, and this dude has started collecting, or has been collecting, uniforms or costumes. We can tell you all about that later.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Of the DCI course from the past, and very knowledgeable. Lots of funny stories.
I mean, that guy was a treasure trove. Just like, I mean, stuff like knowing rules from the 1932 rule book for drum corps in the Illinois drum corps book. I'm like, how in the world do you know these things, man?
Wow.
Knew like, I mean, it was blew my mind
But
how much you knew.
he wants to take it on tour. Wants to take to schools and stuff. So I left him my email and see see what that's about. And they tried to get it to my school if they would enjoy it. But
That's cool.
lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff. So, and we'll probably talk about this again. Like, we'll probably dig into numbers a little bit more. We'll probably be more scientific when we go talk about it for this week's episode, which will be number 50.
Yep. Look at that. Number 50.
So, if you got any burning questions or like, how did this happen? Like,
Yeah.
we might not be able to tell you, but we can at least talk about it.
Tweet us or post us or X us. I don't know what you even say
Whatever.
today anymore.
We got an email too.
Slide into the DMs.
Snail mail it too, I guess. So.
Yeah. I prefer that. Pigeon. Pigeon's a good way too.
Not a pigeon.
Telegram.
Yeah.
Telegram. Smoke signals.
Just throw a hat up in the air.
Go get my folding chair. Get it going.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, if you have any questions you want us to answer about tonight in our next episode, let us know any which way. Any of our socials on the back hash is at all those things, or on Instagram and Facebook on the back hash. Let us know what you think and what you want to know, and we'll delve more into it. It'll probably be a 3-hour episode, probably. No one knows how we do it. So, but thank you all for hopping on with us. And it's already almost 1:00 here in Indy. We got to get some sleep. and get back home tomorrow, and we'll probably record tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how it works. But let us know what you think. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We'll probably talk about it a little bit later on, but this has been an awesome year. We had a lot of growth so far with our podcast, and that's all thanks to you guys and sharing it out and helping us out, and have more community interaction this year, which is awesome. Doesn't stop here. We keep going. We have stuff that in the works. We've been talking about some cool things we have coming up. WGI literally starts like
BOA
now,
starts.
a BOA
It's like
starts now.
BOA.
Oh gosh.
We got all that stuff. We got a lot of cool stuff in the works for that. So spread the word. Tell your friends about us. Tell them, make sure they look for us, all those places. So you guys got anything else you want to say? No? All right. All right, cool. Well, for all of us at On the Back Hash, I'll let you do this part because this is you.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is me. Oh,
Yeah, this is you.
Yeah, from me, Chris, Zach, and Will. My name's Cedric. This has been another live of On the Back Hash. Guys, take care, get some sleep. Dream about sweet drum corps tonight, and we are dut.